Okay. Hi. It's Nisha. So I just so in this video I'm gonna be doing my makeup and talking about my labor and delivery story. I had my son Ezekiel 4 months ago. Oh, 4 months ago. So yeah, and I feel like my story is not unique. I mean, every mom's story is unique, but I just feel like it's nice to share, you know, my experience, my labor experience. So I'm gonna get right into it, right into the makeup, right into the story. I'm not gonna really be showing you guys what I'm using. I'm just gonna be going with the flow and talking. This is my first time actually doing something like this, and I'm just trying to see like what works for my channel, what works for me as a person, because it's very hard not to like fall into the mode or like environment of what you think a YouTuber should be, or how you feel like you should act on camera for other people. But yeah, so I'm just gonna get right into it. Right into it. And yeah. So my original due date was July 23rd, 2020. And literally by the 35th week, I was over being pregnant. Like, I was tired. I had to start sleeping upright because of crazy heartburn. So, me knowing that 37 weeks is when a baby is technically full term, I did everything in my power to induce labor. And it just was not, it just wasn't working in my favor. My friend had came down for the week to spend the week with me because so it was like a week or two before I was due. It was the week before I was due, and she came and she spent the week with me, and we were all hoping that the baby would come while she was there, but he didn't. I did what is it called, mother's brew or something like that, where it's like castor oil and the tea, and I forget what it's called, but it's that brew that's been circling around YouTube. I did it twice. The first time I did it, I just got like cramping. I guess that's like contractions. What I thought was contractions. It was contractions, but it felt like cramps, and it was painful. But the most that I ended up doing was doing a number 2 that night. So I tried again, probably like a few days later, and still nothing happened. I even tried eggplant. Nothing happened because I think she said her sister ate eggplant and it induced her labor. But it didn't work for me. 38 weeks comes. I'm still pregnant. Still pregnant. Then 39 weeks come. I'm still pregnant. Still pregnant. Going to my weekly doctor's appointment. Still pregnant. So my doctor had came to the decision that, because I got to 40 weeks and I was still pregnant. And the way my doctor's office goes is she will give me a week after my due date before she induced me. I think 7 days. Damn, this our show sucks. So that's what happened. So 40 weeks came, and I still was pregnant. So we scheduled my induction for that Wednesday. So every Thursday was like a week for me. So that Wednesday I was supposed to go in at like 10 o'clock that night and start the induction process. I feel like I've been on this one eye for like the longest. Start the induction process. So then that Sunday at like 3 a.m. Oh shit, wrong shade. At like 3 a.m. I went to the bathroom, had like little slight cramping, and my mucus plug came out. Like I wiped and saw that my mucus plug came out. And at first I was like, what the hell is this? Like it was this might be TMI, but it was like this long mucus like thing. Mine's was pretty much clear, but when I looked it up, some had like a red tinge to it or blood on it. Mine's didn't. Just had like regular mucus like substances on it. Didn't necessarily mean that you were gonna go into labor right away. Like there's women who have lost their mucus plug weeks before they went into labor. Like they say labor can start from anywhere between hours to weeks. So I didn't really have my hopes high for that, but I should have known something was up because I was past due. So I should have known that I was gonna go into labor before I went into the hospital to be induced. So then I go on about my life for the rest of that Sunday, and everything is going fine, same as normal. Nothing to report. Monday morning, I get up to go use the bathroom. This is about like 7:30ish. I was having like little cramps. But I didn't think anything of it because I've been having cramps. So then I go to the bathroom and oh fuck. Oh well. I see blood. So I go to the bathroom because I'm cramping. Like my cramps wake me up, but it didn't feel like anything. Like I wasn't feeling. I literally went over my eyes with foundation. I literally just went over my eyes with foundation. What the fuck? I guess that's just what it is then. No eyeshadow. So I went to the bathroom, and when I went to the bathroom, I saw blood on my underwear. Now, the whole time of my pregnancy, I have not bled. So that was shocking to me. So I immediately called the doctor, my doctor's office, and she wasn't there just as yet. So I got on call. No, the office opened at 9, so all this happened around 7:30, 8 o'clock. So I got the on call, and they got in touch with the on call doctor, and they told me to like pack my things and go to the hospital just in case, bring my things just in case and go to the hospital so they can check me out. And like I was literally having like these small contractions, but I was still able to talk through them. And everyone was like, "How are you in labor right now?" And like, you're able to talk. You're able to like laugh with us. Like I was literally calling everyone, laughing and talking with them and saying, it's time, the baby's coming." Girl, when I got to the hospital, they didn't even believe that I was in labor, but they did check me. And I was only 1 centimeter dilated. Only 1 centimeter dilated. It's the same as the times that I've been going to my doctor's appointments, and they checked my cervix to see if I've been dilated. Only 1 centimeter. So then they sent me home after, they checked me out and everything, and they monitored how far apart my contractions were. Like I think my contractions were 3 to 5 minutes apart, and I was counting them on this contraction app that I had. I'll probably link it or like share a screenshot of what it looks like. I really loved it. So yeah, they did that. It was 3 to 5 minutes apart, but it was only dilated 1 centimeter, so there was really no reason for me. To stay. So they sent me home, and as I'm like walking out the hospital, I see these older ladies, and they're like, because they saw me come in, and they were like, "Oh, they're sending you home," and I'm like, "Yeah," and I told them what happened, and they were like, "Oh, we'll see you back here at 3:00. I bet you we'll see you back here at 3:00." And I was like, I guess, I don't know. And so I get home, and so I'm discharged from the hospital at, I want to say 12:30, because I got there. I took my sweet time getting to the hospital, to be honest, because I needed to shower. I had nails on that I was like, what if the baby comes and I have nails? And like, I don't want the nails to be on. So I had to soak the nails off. Like, I already took my slow time getting to the hospital. I guess there's another sign that I wasn't really in labor, because if I was really in labor, I would have been like on it. So yeah, I got to the hospital around 10. They did all that, and I'm leaving around like 12:30, and those ladies are like, "Oh, we'll see you again at like 3:00." So the hospital is only 30 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes top, like literally 15, 20 minutes away from my house. So I get home, and I was warned that because they touched my cervix, that it may cause me to dilate some more. So I get home around like 1:00, and I'm literally trying to take a nap. Go back to sleep, because at this point I was woken up too early by cramps. And I was so tired. So I'm trying to take a nap, and for some reason, like, I just could not. Like, I could not stay asleep. I could not take a nap. It's like these contractions just started to get harsher out of nowhere. Then I was home for an hour. 2:00. Like, I literally like started crying. Like, these contractions. Like, I always ask, like, "Oh, what do contractions feel like? What do the contractions feel like?" And they're like, "Oh, you'll know when you get them. You'll know when you get them." And when I say, I knew. I knew. I was on my pregnancy ball, bouncing, doing breathing exercises, trying to like breathe it out, because I'm like, I'm not sure if I should go back to the hospital yet. Yada yada. Like, I just was going through the work. So around 2:20-ish, I call my doctor's office, and I tell her what's going on, like what happened this morning and what's going on now. And she said, "Yeah, go back to the hospital. And at this point, like, I am screaming, cursing, like, I'm in so much pain. And it's like it came out of nowhere. Because mind you, just an hour ago, even when I left the hospital, I was doing fine. I was perfectly fine. And like, to even just like walk to the car Like, oh my God. And I was, just thinking about it. So yeah, so that happened, and I get to the hospital, and they're like, "Oh, you're back," and I couldn't barely talk, like tears like running down my face. So they get me situated in a room, and the doctors come back in, they check my cervix, and literally from the time that I left the hospital, like when they first checked my cervix, to me getting home and back to the hospital, I dilated 2 more centimeters. I got to 3 centimeters. So I was in labor. Um, they, what's the word I'm looking for? They admitted me. They admitted me to the hospital. Oh, damn. They admitted me to the hospital and started, like, monitoring me and monitoring the baby, my contractions. I was still at 3 centimeters, and like 2 hours later, 3 hours later, I was still at 3 centimeters. I wasn't really dilating like I was supposed to. It's like at a certain point, like once you get to like 4. No, I know what it is. So I'm jumping ahead. So the day is going, and I'm just like, I need the epidural. Like they asked me if I wanted the epidural. I said yes, I want the epidural. My nurse, she was sweet, but girl, I wanted the epidural. She was like, don't you want to like wait it out a little? Wait it out a little. And I'm like, no, I want the epidural now. 3 centimeters, like I could not handle that pain. So I got the epidural, and I was feeling perfectly fine. Like it was 4 months ago, so I'm trying to really remember and not give like, I don't know if y'all want detail, or just like the good parts. So I had my sister there. You can only have one person in the room thanks to COVID. Thanks to COVID, you can only have one person in the room. Which was my sister, but she was great. Like she had a whole group chat going with everyone on our side of the family and everyone on my son's father's side of the family. The night was going, and for some reason, like I was not dilating. I'm saying for some reason, but for y'all, like for story purposes, but I know the reason because I know the story. I was there. But for some reason, I was not dilating the way I was supposed to. Like it was taking forever for me to dilate. And so like in the middle of the night, like around 9 o'clock, I felt like a drip down there. Mind you, I'm on epidural, so I'm kind of like numb. So for me to feel it, I was like, wow. So I called the nurses, and I'm like, I think my water broke. And they checked, and my water did partially break, so they broke it all the way, the rest of the way. Use like this little not sewing needle, but like it looks like a crochet hook needle. That's what they used to break it the rest of the way. And after that, I still wasn't dilating the way I was supposed to. And they found out that the baby pooped in me, like the meconium was inside of me, which after speaking to my aunt and looking back at my nursing stuff, they should have did an emergency C-section with me because of that, But my doctor wasn't on call that night. She came back the next morning, but thank God when she came in, she was like, so yeah, everything, I went over all the notes that they took last night of you and what's going on. And also I was on Pitocin to help me dilate. And every time they would try to increase the dose of Pitocin, like the baby's heart rate would he would go in distress. So the Pitocin wasn't working. So then my doctor came in the next morning around 7, and she looked over the notes. She spoke to me, and she was like, the best like she was like, if it's up to you, like we can continue to try for like a vaginal birth if you would like, but I really do recommend that we do an emergency C-section because you just need an emergency C-section. So I was like, okay. And she came in with the papers. Literally 15 minutes, I was in that OR. Like, since I already had the epidural in, everything went by faster. But, like, as everything is going on, like, I start crying. I start shaking. Like, the whole procedure, I'm just shaking and I'm just crying. The nurses there are consoling me. My sister is holding my hand. Yeah, like, and then I start throwing up. I'm like, I'm about to throw up. I'm about to throw up. And he's like, it's okay. It's okay. Like, I'll give you something for, like, the anesthesiologist was amazing. Like, the whole team was amazing. So I literally start throwing up on the operating table as they're, like, cutting me open and sewing me back up and stuff. And she's like, oh, do you want to hold the baby? And I was like, no, I can't. Like, literally, I was, like, shaking. And then eventually I passed out. I passed out on the operating table, and I did not wake up until like an hour after they were done. And when I woke up, I was still shaking. I didn't realize how scared I was and how much I did not want a C-section until like it came down to me, like I had to get the C-section. And literally, I don't know if it was just all in my head, but I swore I could feel them like stitching me back up. And I'm like, and I think that's also the moment I also passed out where I'm like, I can feel it. And next thing you know, like, I don't remember anything. And I heard one of the nurses say, oh my God, thank goodness she didn't hold the baby. That's how bad I was. Like, I had the craziest panic attack. But after a while, like after I woke up, I did stop shaking, and I was able to hold my baby. And the end result was the reason why I was not dilating the way that I was supposed to, because once your water breaks, you're literally supposed to dilate 1 centimeter every hour, according to what my doctor said. And my water broke at 9 p.m. the night before, and I still was not dilating. Like, they even had me like sitting on all fours, like my knees and my hands for like 15-20 minutes, and that helps me get to 5 centimeters. This is all in the morning, by the time before my doctor came. They were trying everything in their power for me to have a vaginal birth, but it didn't work. So yeah, the reason why that it was gonna be inevitable for me to do a vaginal birth was my baby. He was head down, but he was sunny side up. So he was like this, head down, but like this. So his head was not applying the right amount of pressure on my cervix to even make it dilate. Yeah, so that's what happened. So the 2 reasons why it was inevitable for me to have a vaginal birth is, 1, he pooped inside of me, and 2, he was sunny side up, which they would have not known. They wouldn't have known that unless they did the C-section to know that he was sunny side up. So he could have been I could have tried for vaginal birth, but he would have been in so much distress, and why would I do that? But yeah. So at the end of it, I ended up passing out, and I came to, like, after that, my mother instincts like kicked in. But yeah, that's my labor and delivery story. Painful contractions, emergency C-section, and me having a panic attack. Like, literally, like, just thinking back at it, Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed the story. And I kind of liked doing this format. I like doing my makeup and talking, even though I totally fucked up the look at first, like by covering up the eyeshadow with the foundation. But, oh well. So stay tuned for the next video. I will be putting out more videos on like mommy stuff and, you know, my weight loss journey, because I did gain a lot of weight from this pregnancy. So yeah. Bye.